right, tonight. There I am. I'm a little late to the party, I think, right? So, anybody else want to come in and talk to me tonight? I don't know if Charlie's going to be here tonight or not. He was not feeling well over the weekend. When he came down for class, he was starting to get a head cold. So, Icy Mountain Bees, honey, there you are. I'm glad to have you in here. Glad to see everybody's here. Hey, Mike from Easy Ox, how are you tonight? Yeah, right. Better late than never. I'll get it right eventually, right? I'm old. It takes time to learn. I was on a Zoom earlier, so it's not my usual habits before I get on here on a Monday night. So it's been a day. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. So, who else is on here that wants to come in with me? Let's have a conversation. Let's get this thing started. As they say, let's get this party started. So, did anybody see Cayman's live the other night with Blake Shook? Hey, Dean. How are you this evening? I don't think there's any real new updates out of that. I read Blake's letter, and not a whole lot to be said in there, other than they're still doing some testing. So I don't think they know what's going on yet. But let's all hope and pray they get it figured out here pretty quick. So I see we got some new people in here. Dennis, how are you? So I think the word's been kind of spreading that we do this on Monday nights, because I've seen some comments. And Jason Segrist, how are you? There's JT. How are you, JT? Greg Dunn, how are you, Greg? Come on in here, Greg. Talk to me. How's everybody's bees? Chad Edwards. Western end of Virginia that sells Caucasian queens. Yes, you're talking to one. I sell Caucasian queens. I'm sorry, Dennis. I got you mixed up with somebody else. My fault. I'm glad you're back here, though. I'm glad you're here for all of them. That makes me feel better, knowing that you're here. Keith, how are you tonight? Roy, how are you? Are you dug out from under all the snow yet? Who we getting here? Oh, there's Charlie. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm a little rough.
That's kind of what I thought after talking to you this morning.
Yeah, I got in there and, well, we were not doing a whole lot, but today, but people calling and just answering the phone. Yeah, are you open? Want to come up? Want to do this? Want to do that? Hey, Mike. Hey, Clay, Kathy, Keith, Jonathan. So I just got done. Guy been hounding me for 3 days now, wanting to get honey. So he just left.
Pizza guy?
Yeah. So another $20.
Hey, it's $20 more than you had, right? Hey,
That's
Bill
right.
Lee, how are you?
Hey, Billy. Hey, Mike. Yeah, I do too. The head cold's gone. It settles in my throat.
Mm.
And then it finally goes, hey, Sandy, and all that. So anyway, and then kind of between the head cold and traveling Sunday or Monday, or when was it? Saturday.
Saturday.
And it wasn't that bad. Where I left from your place the rain was light, but
Yeah.
driving around all the other vehicles that's putting all that spray off and trying to see. And yeah, honey's good for that. Maybe I'll have to try it. And so anyway, I got home, got into my bees Sunday, I guess it was. And so I gave them all pollen patties, and some of them needed sugar, and one of them's got nosema. So I got some DFM coming in from Bill here in the next day or so. Or super DFM, whatever that is.
Yeah,
And
probiotics.
yeah, that and then a friend of mine, she's gonna give me a feeder and some fumagillin. So probably the bee inspector will call me tomorrow.
Let's hope so.
So
That would be a good scenario.
well, she's a neighbor. So
Well,
she's close by.
there's Nancy. Hi, Nancy. How are you tonight?
Oh, good. Freezing. I'm
Freezing.
Yes, it is so cold. I don't know what happened, but it is freezing.
How cold is it?
I don't have in the 30s.
You're supposed to say it's so cold I saw the robin dipping his worm in nest tea. Remember Johnny Carson?
Yeah, not so sure about that. So how was the class? You guys had a class.
I'll let Charlie answer that.
Well, it was packed.
Hi, Mike.
You had 17 sign up, but I think there was 20 or 25 there, wasn't it?
Yeah, last count was 29.
29.
Yep.
Hi, Kathy.
I know it was sort of like standing room only type of thing.
Yeah. And Charlie got to do his rolling demo demonstration. He got to talk about that. I talked about mine. I talked about a couple other different splits, and everybody was really happy, and they felt like they learned something. Nuggets.
Oh, good.
And they had
So mission accomplished.
Yeah, he had a little booklet for explaining quite detailed on, let's see, what was a walkaway split, and I just call it creating a nuke.
Yeah, creating a nuke, a walkaway split, introduce split. I did a TerraSolve split, and we did the traditional demo array and the rolling demo array.
Hi, David.
And everybody walked away happy. So
yeah, and I had some folks that weren't subscribers, but they had followed some of our talk shows and stuff.
Yep.
So she was supposed to subscribe
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff, and different ones. I'm Clay here. He was there.
Yeah.
Clay Burner. And
Will was there.
Will, I don't know if he's on yet or not. He was there. Clay got some
Toothacher. Will Toothacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clay got some nuggets of information out of me. So
Yeah.
he was happy about it.
And we had a couple from Alabama that were there.
Oh, wow.
They were up visiting his twin brother who lives in the area, and he brought them over there to the class, and
Hey,
they
James.
were two of the
Hey,
walk-ins.
Steve.
So
Well, the biggest thing I was talking to that guy from Alabama about, maybe we did get off topic on some, a few times. And one was mite treatments, and, like Formic Pro versus whatever, because of his climate. I said, well, you got to do it more towards the winter time.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these acids, I said, you have to tweak it in for your environment. Basically, it's
Yep.
that kind of thing. And so that was really interesting. And I don't know what yellow root is, but
if you watch
It's not yellow snow.
you watch the top corner, this is going to lead to an announcement later on.
super.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned here in the comments about signs of nosema.
Charlie.
I don't know. I don't
Let me
know the
find it.
comments here, but who's mentioned about having nosema?
I did. I said about
Yeah, Charlie was talking about it. He's got some.
Right, but in the comments, somebody mentioned in the comments about nosema
That's what I'm
as
looking
well.
for.
So just curious to see what is DFM like how the hive with signs means. Okay, Dennis. Okay, yes. So yeah, where is Dennis? Just to give us an idea of what kind of winter you're having. Like, where are you in the country, and are you able to get into the hive at all?
And it all depends on what type of nosema you think you have.
Well, right, but any type of where is he seeing it? Is it on the outside of the hive? I know Charlie was mentioning he saw it on the inside on that cool new cover he has. But
Yep.
If you can, maybe try and feed some real thin 1-to-1 if they're able to fly. Maybe get some DFM on them.
Well,
Dennis is in Texas. Okay.
Oh, so you could probably feed some really thin syrup, clean out their guts.
He probably could. What are you seeing, Dennis? Is it dysentery on the inside and outside of the hive? What are you seeing? All over the outside.
All over the outside.
Yeah, he's got probably, I'm not going to say for sure, but he's probably got Nosema apis, which is the better one of the two nosemas to have. Like Nancy was saying, some Fumiglin B, and after that, throw in some probiotics, super DFM, something like that, for a couple of weeks to get their gut cleaned out. And after the Fumiglin, feed them, a light syrup along with the super DFM, and that'll get them straightened back out.
Yeah, and if you're able to get them cleaned out before your nectar flow hits, you want to have healthy bees when your nectar comes in.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a simple syrup too. If you don't,
I think Dennis was asking a question of what DFM is. Somebody was.
DFM is an not antibiotic, but a probiotic. Nancy could probably tell you exactly what's in it. So go ahead.
It's direct feed microbial. So DFM is direct feed microbial. And that is going to have your micros. I could get the package and actually look at it. I've used it for about 4 or 5 years now. I use it in the spring. I put it on everybody twice, and that seems to get them going a little bit. And then, say May, June, if I start to see signs of disease, if I see deformed wing virus in the way of string wing, K wing, if I see gold beef paralysis, any sorts of symptoms of disease. Now my mite load, it's a spring, so my mite loads are low, and I hit them another 2 times with the DFM, and they're able to get themselves back in order. It's not gonna bring a dead hive back, but it'll really help if you get if you get it on early, when you start to see some symptoms, it
Right.
helps.
And it's in a powder form. It's a white.
It's powder. You just put a little bit on your hive tool. It's a tablespoon sprinkled over the tops of your hives,
Yeah.
over the frames. Sorry, over the frames, and then just use your hive tool.
Yep.
But I've been using it. I love the stuff. I think it's great. I think my bees are happy and healthy for it.
So, and DC had
Right.
a good suggestion here.
What's it say?
If it's bad on the inside, if you've got a lot of dysentery on the inside of the hive, you can change it out for a fresh box and some fresh frames. That's a great point right there, because the cleaner that house is, it goes a long ways towards helping the girls get straightened out. And DC is 100% correct on that. So now,
My problem is right now it's cold. It's going to snow.
yep.
It's not much I can do. Now I
Yep.
did get
Right.
a phone call. The girl that took my president's position, this stupid thing, and so she's going to provide me with some fumagellin and a medium frame feeder, which so I'll get that tomorrow night. So I think Sunday there might be a 40-degree window. I might be able to get that in there. By that time, also, well, you said, Bill, you don't put the super DFM in until
after you run the course of treatment with the Fumiglin B, and then you put the probiotics on to help them repair their gut and to get their gut straightened out, and like sugar syrup.
Yeah, I got.
Saturday here is supposed to be 44. Sunday's supposed to be 47. So
Yeah. The fumagel. That's a little aggressive, Bill. I'm gonna put myself out there to disagree a little bit with you. I think that's a little aggressive for
What's
early
that?
spring.
What?
But
The
I mean, if you
Fumiglin?
have, I mean, that's a little aggressive. I think a little one-to-one syrup would just bring them
that's
around. But
that's recommended treatment. If you look it up, you look up Nosema apis.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I think
that's
that
where I'm looking at it. Is if you look it
yeah.
up, that's the recommended treatment. But everybody has their own way of doing things. I'm
Yep.
just giving you the recommended way that it should be
but
done.
My question is, if you feed them, I think the ideal behind that isn't it, Nancy, that they can fly out, defecate, and come back in clean or cleaning themselves out.
Well, yeah, you just want to give them a little cleaning out. Like, I just don't know if you have to get that aggressive. I mean, a little.
What I'm getting at is our weather conditions right now.
Right. I'm talking to Dennis in Texas, not you in Maryland. Like that would be, it depends on where you're at in order to what your treatment would be.
Well, I mean, for me, I might have a couple flight days here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm wondering whether or not if I feed them with a fumagellin, I'll say I'll kill the bacteria or whatever's in there. And they still need to go out and defecate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and what are you overwintering them on too? That's the other thing, is I noticed that sometimes they get really plugged up when they're overwintered on fall honey, which is a little ashier and a little harder on their guts.
Usually it's
and
I don't really have too much honey. It's more sugar water with apis. I don't know. I've never really, I'll say years ago, everybody had a little bit of dysentery where they not much like you see in Ian's video where it's like the whole front. It was just a few streaks here and there. And then the inspector was there and she said that there was a lot of people that year had that. And with the hive here, I had that. It cleaned itself up. Everything was fine. But it we had a lot of good flight days,
Yeah.
and it was close to spring.
Right.
And this time we got a January, a cold February. Not as many flight. Usually our flight, we have a lot more flight days in February. This year it's a much extended forecast of being cold, and I think that maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Once I
So
started feeding in spring on a regular, once for the last couple years, I clean them all out with a thin 1-to-1, and I don't have any problems. The 1 year, the beginning years, and I didn't do that. I had some evidence of some problems on the outside of the hive as they were exiting. It's just like they couldn't get out fast enough.
Yeah,
They were eliminating.
yep.
They were eliminating on the way out.
Yep.
yeah,
And
they
now,
couldn't hold it. They just had
right,
they
right.
had the Hershey squirts.
Yeah. So DC, that's the same. It's a very true statement, DC. If you need it, it helps. If you don't, it doesn't.
Yeah,
And it
no
doesn't
harm, no
hurt
foul.
to give them a probiotic anyway.
Yeah, in
So,
Iowa, hit that one, Bill. Iowa. Yeah. So one of the ideas for the DFM when they started was for those in heavy agriculture areas. And I live next to a farm, so that was one of the reasons I started using. And I saw that it really helped with to get them through some of those sticky times as they were coming down with some
yeah.
symptoms of virus. But yeah, Iowa, I would or George, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
George. Yeah, it's in the category it can't hurt. So
Right.
if you start using it, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yes. So these products by Strong Microbials. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this announcement. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have a factory representative from Strong Microbials on here, and he's going to talk about Strong Microbials, period. And he's going to take
Good.
questions from the audience live. So
Good.
if you've got questions about any of the Strong Microbial products, write them down so you remember them. And he's going to be on here to talk to you about that product. Any product that Strong Microbial makes, he's going to talk to you about it. So,
And that's the owner. That's one of the owners.
John Turpin. He is one of the upper level managers. The owner is Russian, and he speaks broken English. He's hard to understand. So,
Oh, right. The other guy is one of the
Slava is very
master-
hard to understand. This is one of the other
master
guys that
Yes.
does the
I
bee
think
stuff.
it's the guy from Maryland.
Yeah, he's from Maryland. He's from the Baltimore area, and he does the bee stuff. So
Good.
they have a lot of new products coming out, and he's also probably going to end up telling you about some stuff about Apis as well. So, but that's to be seen. But if you look at my screen in the top corner where my little banner is up there, you're going to see what's coming out. So
Probably helps DC up there too in the far northwest.
yes,
I can imagine that it'd probably be very beneficial for him for DC.
So the P801 that somebody was referring to on here, yes, that's to help with the pesticides to keep them so they can help digest that pesticide if they get into it. So it all helps with the bees, the probiotics with the P801. There's other stuff that you can put in there as well. So it all helps. The spirulina helps. So, Nancy talked about the spirulina before, but it all helps. Excuse me.
And what does that do,
Sue?
Nancy? What does that spirulina? I know it's seaweed.
Yeah, so that was many years ago now that I used to get I'm gonna say it was a fondant. It was a patty.
Yep.
It had some good stuff in there. And seaweed was one of them. but the spirulina seaweed, and they just, I mean, they just gobbled that down, and it just, I mean, it's all anecdotal because I'm not a scientist, but they just seem to be, they just grew, they were healthy, they were happy. My bees are very calm, and I think that calm bees are a result of good nutrition, good quality queens, and a good quality beekeeper.
Yes.
We don't want to see videos like I saw earlier today where that those when you have bees coming and attacking you and just going nuts, like, they're not happy bees, they're not healthy, they're sick. um
Well, I know that one of my uh, members in the Baltimore Bee Club, uh, we were at a meeting here a couple months ago, and she's told me, she says, when I go through them hives and I find a lot of time, well, she's doing nukes and stuff, but she does 10 frame. And she said, when they get aggressive or mean acting, she said,
mhm.
I'll give them a couple doses of oxalic acid and they calm right down and all,
Yeah.
because there's a
Well,
mite load there. He said that she believes the mites are biting the heck out of them, and they're like fleas on a dog. Get rid. They're
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
yeah, but the other thing too is if you pop your lid and those bees are not happy, you close the lid. You don't follow through with an inspection.
Mm-mm.
Like, that's the worst thing to do with a hive that's sick, to go and manipulate frames and to continue with
Yeah. Now I had a hive.
continue the. Mhm.
I had a hive that there's one here that you open it up and they're calm, but then they'll blow up into your face. And I finally got it was I thought they were queenless the way they acted. But then I found the queen. And then it
Yeah,
was it's time to get rid of her and maybe do some splits and
yeah.
Yeah.
to get rid of that trait.
Yep.
Yeah, you DC, you can make, from what you see on a video, you can make some assumptions. And bees that act like little monsters are not happy or healthy.
I equate it more to a healthy bee is a
Mm,
happy bee, and a healthy bee is a calm bee.
yes, yes.
So,
Barring weather, barring pests, we
yep.
have
Now,
outside influences that we all, we get that. But when you see bees that are, that aggressive, they're sick.
Either that or they got
either either that or there's a huge weather front coming through. There's been a huge change in pressure. I mean, it could be a cloud floating by sometimes, and they'll go ballistic, but they calm right down.
Yeah, but yeah, and I know. I mean, I know I know when I can tell
or
by the way the bees act whether or not there's a storm coming, but it's short lived, and then
Yeah.
but so then again, back to what I said earlier, you come across a hive that's aggressive and that's coming out at you put the lid back on it and you walk away and you think about it and you figure, there's certain actions you can take at that point. But following through on an inspection of an aggressive hive, until you've sorted through some of the other things that could be wrong. They could be, infested with mites. They could be hungry. There could be something pestering them. There could be a storm coming. So you put the lid back on, and then you go back in a couple of days and check again. Are they still that way? Did you go through all the lists of probabilities? But to follow through on an aggressive hive and do manipulate frames, it's
Now,
just.
sometimes you just sometimes with an aggressive hive, if you know they're not sick and they're just flat out aggressive, sometimes you just have to push through and do that inspection
Yeah.
to get to the bottom of the root of the issue. And once you get to the root of the issue with an aggressive hive, you got to fix it.
Well, it could be
It could be queenless. It
yeah,
could
but
be the new queen.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
also could be what do you call it? The bees from down south.
Oh, Africanized bees. They're not likely to
Africanized.
be up here though.
Not around here, but now you'll get that in Florida.
Oh yeah, definitely in Florida. That's for
Well,
sure.
down
But
in that area down there. I know that Florida, I forget what it is. There's an inspection thing about that, and where they know they got it, but they aggressively try to manage it.
well, that's like
Yeah.
Dennis in Texas. He said, I have Texas feral bees. So he probably does have some bees
Yeah.
that have
Well, there's
those tendencies.
let's see, Jeremy, he's out there in Texas. Watch his videos. They are
They are very aggressive.
and they're
Yeah, I could imagine keeping
Yeah.
bees down there.
he used to
That's
keep bees in, I think, South Carolina or now Alabama, maybe.
Yeah.
Very
Uh-huh.
very common bees. He moved to Texas because of his job, and he's keeping them out there, and they're Africanized. He said I hate keeping bees here because of this problem. And all
Yeah, in
that.
spring they shouldn't be. They should be happier. You know, in spring too, when you have an aggressive hive early on, there's issues you have to figure out.
Yes. So, I mean, it could be as simple as a sick queen or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got to figure it out, especially in the spring, because, you know, hey, Magnolia.
they're aggressive in the spring. Forget about the fall.
Yeah, forget about the fall. You got to take care of them in the spring. But, you know, like Russian bees. Yeah, I saw a comment on here a while ago. Somebody had Russian bees and they got molested by robbers, and they were mean all winter. They were on guard all winter, which and a
Mhm.
Russian bees are known to be aggressive. So you know that going in. If you're going to keep Russian bees,
Yeah.
you might as well figure it's like a hot cornulin hive, and you need, as a beekeeper, to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I don't kill queens. I haven't ever killed a queen. I'm going into my 8th year. And I did have a hive I put up with for 2 years. It was with all my other hives, so it was kind of like an outlier. So I thought maybe something was after it. But after 2 years, I didn't treat it and didn't feed it, and it found its own demise. But
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, that's like here in our apiary, in Green Acres Apiary. First time I've ever witnessed it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
But you've heard about bees trying to supersede each other. A hive trying to take over another hive because they thought they were weaker.
That's Africanized. The only ones that do that is Africanized. There's a name for it. What's the name for it? It's a name when a queen comes in and takes over an existing hive. And they've only found that in the Africanized colonies, that the others don't do it.
Well, these were 2 hives of mine that I've had for 10 years that did this.
Yeah.
I was in the yard when it started. One hive comes out, flies to the back of the other hive. The other hive came out, flew to the back of that hive, and they all walked around the hive and went in the entrance. They fought for 3 days.
They traded hives?
No, they were fighting each other. It's usurpation. So,
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
So
there you go.
This half of these bees went to this hive, and half of these bees went to this hive, and they fought for 3 days.
I never heard
couldn't get in the apiary whatsoever.
Did they take a queen, or did they leave the queen in the hive?
The queens were left.
Yeah. Okay.
And whichever
is when
one
the queen
would have
comes out and
succeeded whichever one would have succeeded, they would have come back and gotten the queen and brought her down there.
Hmm.
But that's for 3 days they did this, and these are Carniolan bees.
Hmm.
Well, I had Russian hive, one Russian hive years ago. The only thing that I found out with him is, and I had Italians, and I tried a Russian. And Russians are a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah, they are.
They have a different attitude. They do things differently versus Italian will keep on pumping bees out and eat themselves out of house and home. And the Russian, if there's no food coming in, you'll swear that they're queenless because she completely shuts down.
Yep.
And, until food comes in. And I was like, I want to get rid of this Russian because I just can't take the time to learn the characteristics of this type of breed and everything. That was my experience with Russian queens. It went went down the road.
Russians are honey producers, right? That's why people want Russians.
Yeah, they are
Because
prolific
they're
honey
high yield.
producers. Yep, high yield. Just like
But you got to
Carney.
deal with them. Is it worth it? Does it
I
get
mean,
to the
but
point where
now
it's
there's
not
a
worth
comment
it?
on here. Where is it? Brian C made a comment. He's had mean Russians and he's had calm Russians. All bees are different. It's hard to really generalize any species of bee, but it is what it is. I mean, we know what the Russians are capable of, and that's why we prepare. If we're going to get Russians, you are prepared to deal with what they could be. So, and I'm not trying to generalize any different type of bee. It's just because I've seen carnies that are so daggone aggressive that you don't want to get near them. But
what's that other bee out
right.
there? What's the one that Bob Benny likes?
Carniolan.
No,
Caucasians and Saskatraz.
Caucasians.
Yeah.
Oh, Saskatraz. Yeah.
Saskatraz. It kind of, as far as the hype, it kind of came and went.
Yeah, it did.
You don't hear nobody talking about Saskatraz anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
And everything that I heard was not all that positive.
Yeah. Caucasians, they create a whole lot of propolis. They can be lazy, but those queens are something else.
Russians. Yeah, I heard somebody say one time, Russians aren't Russian anywhere. Russians aren't Russian, meaning that they're slow on the uptake, whether that's true or not. But I just thought it was a funny anecdote that they referred to it that way. I think it was your buddy, Charlie. What's his name? You went down and studied under him a little bit with queen rearing early on. What's his name? Anyway, he said Russians aren't Russian anywhere. Not like the Italians. Italians get up early and go to work.
Yeah. You're talking about out in Kentucky?
Yeah. What's his name? He's a real hoot to listen to.
Kent Williams.
Kent Williams, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now, the Russian bees, I don't know this firsthand, but everything I've ever read about them, people I've talked to about the Russian bees, they are more hygienic than any other bee out here without having VHS tendencies, but they are very hygienic. So maybe it's something too. If we started crossing these bees, those hygienic tendencies would cross over into some other strains.
Well, they always said that a pure Russian, years ago, about Varroa at the time, and I forget what it was. But I'll tell you one thing about Russians. Everybody said at a blink of an eye they'll swarm.
Oh, I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about that, but
Yeah,
I
I've
know
heard that.
the
I've heard
most
that.
of the bees out here now, like Peabody says, they're mutts. There's no
Yeah, I
true.
got mutts. I
Yeah,
got
we
mutts
all
here,
have mutts.
Harleysville mutts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Tiny Creek.
Um, what about what do you got? Latchall, is it? You sell?
The Latshaw strain, they're either Italians, Carnies, Caucasians, or mutts. And I
What?
found that my mutt bees produce more honey than any other
Dennis.
strain that I've got. I'm rushing for my ice cream. Yay,
It's
Dennis.
funny. Yeah, I don't know what I have here anymore. I mean, I brought some cells in last year and they turned out to not be worth uh they were worth nothing. They were junk. But mine are all just open breeded for a couple years and I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where they
And
originated from, but what they are now, it's just
yeah.
Harleysville mutts.
Yeah. I'm
Billy
like Keith.
Trash.
I've got light mutts and I got dark mutts.
Yeah. Keith. And you got a new mutt.
Yeah, he's
You
got
got
a
a little
new mutt.
Samson. Yeah.
How's,
Dark
how's that new
mutts.
mutt of yours doing, Keith?
He was meant to be yours, man. You see pictures of him laying there?
Yeah,
It's like he was born to be there.
exactly.
There's Magnolia. Hi, Magnolia.
Andy.
So, Andy, you've
Sam
never heard of
Sanderson.
what?
Never heard of that. I don't know.
Mutts? Mutt bees? I've got valley raised mutts.
I've had some black queens. I haven't had one in a while. I have a couple hives that have a lot of black bees, but I don't think I
Yeah.
have any black queens right now. I got some with
Are they
some dark
real small
stripes.
bees? Are they smaller than your European bee? Black and smaller
Nah,
than a European bee?
I don't know. I have to say, I don't know. I have to look. I'll have to look next time. I don't know.
If
I'll take pictures.
yeah, if they're really black, if they're all the workers and everything, they're black and they don't show any stripes, and they're smaller than a European bee,
Mm-hmm.
those are native bees.
Oh yeah, no. These are
Okay.
just regular bees that are just darker,
Okay.
next to their lighter sisters. I've had some black queens, so
I
what does
love my
that
black
mean? But
queens. Yep. I love them.
They're hard to find though.
Yep. I've got 4 or 5 of them in the yard. And you remember you went to that yard down there in Edinburgh with me, Charlie, Friday?
Yeah.
All the queens down there are jet black. Every one of them.
you put a big dot on them, you can find them.
Yeah. I put white dots on them so I can see them. I don't care
Blue,
about the year. I don't care
blue,
about the
right?
year. I put a white dot on them and so I can see them.
Yeah. I do light blue in the early. Like when I first open my hives, if there's any unmarked queen, because everybody that I closed in fall had a marked and clipped queen. And if I come
Where can
across
you get
any
the sticker
unmarked,
numbers?
unclipped, where can you? Oh yeah, I like to
BC,
start putting sticker numbers on them.
what is it? JZBZ has them. They have the stickers. I can get the stickers.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. I'm going to tell you that ahead of time. They're not cheap.
And don't you have to use the glue with the sticker?
Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
do.
It's
gotta
it's like a two-step process to get
It
that
is.
thing.
And you got to have tweezers to put that number on them. So,
Yeah, you better be marking some drones. You better be practicing on some drones
yep. Because
ahead of time.
it's not a quick process. It's not like dabbing that paint marker on them. It's you got to dab the glue on them, wait a couple seconds, then you got to get that number flipped around so you can pick it up with the tweezers, and then you put it on there with the tweezers. You can't put it on your fingers because your fingers are too daggone big.
Yeah, Mike, that's a good right there. Mike Champlin,
Champlin.
maybe. Yeah, and that's it's the drones, right?
Yeah.
It's more the drones.
It's more the drones that decide the behavior of the hive, and it's more the drones that decide not just behavior but temperament of the hive. So, and when queens open mate, they go out 15 to 50 drones, and you don't know what you got.
I think we got
So my drone class is tomorrow. So
Yeah.
when my live on Wednesday, I'll talk a little bit about whatever we did. It's only every 2 weeks, the drone classes. So I
Yeah.
have one tomorrow. But
well, I
yeah.
would give a shout out. I think we have a new person here, Shawnee Rose, up there in the top. A lady from Minnesota. There she is, DC.
Oh, hiya.
Johnny, what part of Minnesota are you from? From the great white frozen north.
It's cold up there.
Yeah, it is. Come in here and introduce yourself, Johnny. There's Mr. Toothacher.
Hey guys.
How are you, Mr. Toothacher?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
So with your last name like that, was your family into the dentistry business 100 years
God,
ago?
I hope somewhere along the way we were. We were missing out on an opportunity.
Shawnee, minus 31. That's cold. So you are in the great white north.
Well, hi, Will.
Hey,
You
how are
slipped
you
in while I
doing,
went to
Michael?
get some tea.
Yep, I snuck in.
When I saw your name, I thought you were a line of dentists.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
hope that we
missed
can
out.
teach you something on here, Shawnee, and I hope we elevate your knowledge.
Here's Norman.
There's Norman.
Hey, you guys were talking about hot bees earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of different kinds of bees here. Russians,
That's what we do.
Africanized,
That's what we're all about.
Carniolans, Italians, Caucasians.
I helped out a lady from the club in York. She had a hive that was just intimidating her terribly. And it was a little bit of mismanagement. But when I went and got into those bees, I picked up the double deep, or the medium. I forget what it was. I think she was running all mediums. I set a table up and I just picked boxes up. I started at the top, picked them up, and I walked probably 20 or 30 feet away with a box and, slapped the cover down on top of what I left behind, and ended up, she wanted to verify that there was a queen in there and stuff like that. And we did end up requeening that hive eventually then. But picking the boxes up and walking away with them and getting a little bit of distance really, really slowed those bees down and made a big difference with handling them and going through frames and things like that. It really helped. It really helped a lot.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
What did you explain that? Did you just put them away for a while to each individual box and then bring them back in?
So she wanted to identify that, make sure that the queen was there. She was kind of in a panic. And this thing was like, I don't know, I think it was 4 or 5 boxes, mediums high. And there was no queen excluder on it. The queen was, actually found the queen in the top box. But I would just take the cover off, and I'd take a box and I'd take it over to a table that we set up, like I say, 20, 30 feet away, and put the top back on the hive, went through this box to identify what we were dealing with, and then I had another lid that I was on the ground right beside the table. So I would, I'd go through that box and set it aside. Now, when we found the queen on a frame, I isolated that right away into a plastic nuke box and locked her up. So I knew where she was at. I knew things, I had that under control. But and then we went down through those boxes and we pulled some brood out and we manipulated the hive around. And then we ended up putting the queen, when we rebuilt the stack, put the queen down in the bottom and put her underneath a queen excluder, and kind of move forward from there. But they were, sometimes they just get, and I don't know anything, but sometimes they just get such a big population and they just kind of get kind of saucy and sassy, and you need to pull them out of their comfort zone a little bit, and that broke the back of those bees, and they turned out to be all right.
It sounds like the hive was too big, that the queen pheromone wasn't getting all around the whole. If you get too high and she's way up top and they're coming in, you got 4 boxes underneath it. That pheromone isn't spreading enough through that hive, and they get discombobulated. But once you, and you're, once you do something, you can start to eliminate what it's not, and then find what it is, and they should settle down. But to have aggressive bees early in spring is not good. It's not a good sign.
Nope. You're setting yourself up for a summer of disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had an aggressive hive early, I just blast them with the vapor. I just vape them till their eyes watered. What's Randy say? Smoke them till their eyes watered. Vape them, just vape the crap out of them. The bejesus.
Will, when's the York Club get together?
Oh, I'd have to dig, buddy.
Do you go every month?
I try to, and they just did an order. They just did a club order up there at Martin's, and I'm going to try and help. I'm hoping that I'm around, that I can help them with, loading it up at Martin's and bringing it down to the club and distributing it. They one of the local guys here has a big barn, and they usually haul it down there, and then all the members can come up and pick their gear up, once it's all sorted out and stuff. But I'm hoping to help with that. But I'll have to give me a couple minutes here and I'll look, Charlie. I don't have it off the top.
I don't know. Just text me at whenever.
Yeah. I'll send you.
I didn't know whether we could meet up there on one of the nights or something.
Yeah.
That was a fairly good sized order too, wasn't it?
I really don't know. I don't think it was, Bill, to tell you the truth. Not, I think they might have. What's Martin's first break? Dollar wise, you have to get so much to get a break. I think they made that break maybe, but that was it.
Hang on a second. I can tell you. I got paperwork right here.
No, I've been up to York, PA Club once or twice.
Okay.
And it was at a church, I think.
Yep, it's off Queen Street. There's a church right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 1,000, 5,000, and over 10.
Yeah. I don't know if I can text somebody and find out here quick or not, but I think they made the first break, but they didn't make the second.
Okay. That's understandable. I've got a big order coming in from a bee club down in King George County.
Okay. Yeah, I felt bad driving out 81 to come to your house that I wasn't dragging something from Martin's with me down to you, Bill. kind of felt bad. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, I had just been up there Thursday.
Yeah.
And Friday I unloaded it.
Yeah, he unloaded it Friday.
I think Bill planned that out perfectly.
I did. It worked out just perfectly because I made him work for his supper.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know something? Will, he got that tractor with a forklift on the front of it, on a regular front end loader. You know them double doors down there where you go into the bee store?
Mm-hmm.
He stuck that darn pallet right through them two doors. There's a light up there, and I don't think he was that much far from the light. I mean, you're gonna rip that light off. Boom, right in there, no problem.
Sounds like the man's got a plan, though. If he's got the tractor there and he can fork that stuff right in, that saves a lot in the weather.
Yep. There's a pallet jack, 2 pallet jacks on the inside of the building. Haul it right down and put it right away.
There you go. That's great.
Yep.
Wish I had a tractor.
I got one I'll sell you. You got to come get it though.
We had a tree come down. We have a couple big pines that were planted by the owner, the original owner of the house here. So they're 40 years old, but I know I have one that's rotten. I think there's 8 of them up there, and one of them is got to come down, but it wasn't one of those. It was a different one. So now I'm nervous, but it wasn't anywhere near the hives. So, but now I'm nervous because the one that I thought would come down didn't, and another one did. So,
yeah, I got trees to take down where I'm moving an apiary too.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some American hollies in there. I think I'd like to do that.
Oh, they love holly.
Oh, I know.
I have 3 big holly trees, and if you walk out there the right time of the year when they're blooming, it sounds like you just walked into your beehive because it's just buzzing, from bees.
It's a swarm. Yeah, you swear there's a swarm in the air when they're just in the hollies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have a mentee that has a big holly, and man, she's got some good honey.
And they're at the store. Those 2 big cherry trees, one right by the front door of the store and one across that other store. Those are 2 big cherry trees. It sounds the same way in the spring. Bees are all over them trees.
Yeah. I got
Go ahead.
We got a call at the bee club, swarm, in this new development. I think it had a holly or one of those type of trees in there. So the guy, one of our members, got there and says, "What's wrong, lady?" Well, listen to them. They're swarming. They're flying around. And I'm like, and the guy said, "Yeah, it's springtime. They're trying to get some food. It wasn't a swarm. They were just gathering food. No idea about nature."
There's Mr. Tom Mack.
I have a red ornamental maple, like a Japanese maple, red Japanese maple. The real pretty ones.
Yep.
And it's out in the front of the house here. And one year, my husband says, "There's a swarm. There's a swarm out front. He can spot them. He can spot them good." So I came running out, looking, and I'm like, "Oh, they're up in they were up in that red maple, that ornamental, but they haven't touched it since. It was just that one year they went after it. Now maybe something wasn't flowing in another, part of town there, but they normally don't mess with that ornamental. But that year there was thousands of them in that tree, and it's not real big. It's not a big tree.
Did you see any difference in the tree that year if it got some extra attention?
No, I don't know what was different. I don't know what was different about that. It was probably 3 years ago. I want to say it was 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just
still
curious.
The same. I mean, everything's the same, but I look every year now just to make sure, to see if they're going after it. But oh, that was the year. Now that I come to think of it, that was the year that our maples started budding in December up here southeast Pennsylvania. And we all got nervous because we thought, oh, good Lord, what's this mean for spring if they're starting to bud in December? What was that, 2 years ago? And then that year they went after that ornamental. Now they must have been getting something after it because they brought the whole hive with them. I mean, all the hives went to it, so it must have been something. Quince early spring.
Hey Clay, it was good.
Yeah.
meeting
Oh,
you
I
and
got
talking to you down
hundreds
there,
of
too.
regular maples.
Oh, sorry. But
What were you saying, Will?
I was just saying it was nice meeting Clay and getting a chance to talk with him a little bit down at your class as well. He had posted something a little bit ago. So
Yep. So who else out there in the chat wants to come in here and talk about their bees or ask some questions? There's Ripple Effect. Come on in here, Tom.
That the icon up there, super fuel, and it says brick, is it?
Yes, they're patties. You can
What's
get
up?
it. You can get it in a 10-pound brick. You can get them in patties, or you can get it in a 50-pound block and cut your own patties.
What's it, pollen patty or fondant?
It is a fondant patty with Apis biologics in it. So it's a new product that Strong Microbials is coming out with. And if
So
you notice,
it's not out yet.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's out. The dealers are going to start carrying it. And if you notice the rocket there, the super fuel, they can't call it rocket fuel, but it is Apis biologics.
At what temp should I switch from my sugar bricks to liquid feed? 55 is the rule of thumb, but every yard's different.
Yep, you got to pay attention to your weather in your area
and how you feed.
How you feed
in the hive. Yeah.
Yeah, if you feed in the hive, it's one thing. If you feed open feed, it's another.
I always heard if they're flying, it's okay to feed liquid.
Well, it's not okay this time of year because they're flying on some days, and then other days they're not because it's too cold. How does that?
And jars. Be mindful of feeding with jars.
Yes.
If you have a fluctuation of 20, 25 degrees from day to night, that jar is going to burp out. And all of that, you're going to think the bees took it all down, but it burps out. Fred Dunn has a great video on jars. So you want to be mindful of using, I know they start new beekeepers with jars.
Yeah.
Jar feeding. But you want to be mindful of the fluctuation of temps from day to night.
That was why, if you watch my intro, I've got 2 frame mating nukes. It's got a brown box on top. There's a pint jar inside there. I wanted that keep that jar so the bees don't find it, but also the sun doesn't heat it up. It's in its own little cocoon.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I put another medium or deep, depending on the size jar I'm feeding, over top of it so the bees can't get at it, and so it doesn't get that direct sun.
So I don't think buckets give you burp back. I don't know. So.
I've never heard them talk about it on the buckets.
So Ripple Effect asked a good question. How does
hey, Tom.
How does this new product coming out from Strong Microbials compare to Hive Alive? In my personal opinion, and I'm going to give my personal opinion here, Hive Live doesn't hold a candle to Apis biologics. I've used both, and I see more benefit and better bees, healthier bees from the Apis biologic amino acids, the polyphenols, and the bioflavonoids in it than I see out of Hive Alive. So, and
What's
it's
Hive Alive's got what? What's in it, Nancy?
yeah, what's in Hive Alive?
Well, you're getting oh,
Doesn't it have thymol in it?
you want me to go get one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, let's
Let me go
compare.
get one.
Let's compare them.
And bring you had something about Super D. We already figured Super DFM.
Yeah. So we're going to get you a good, accurate answer here in a second. So you'll have a definite answer.
As accurate as we can.
As accurate as we can get it, ripple effect. So just hang on and we will get you a
So Bill explained to me once. Now,
right.
now I'm that guy that keeps Hive Alive in his syrup all year long.
Yeah.
And then I have some of that, and forgive me, I'm not real dialed in on this. I think it's the Apis biologic, and it's the powder form. And I bought that, and that's the stuff that you can sprinkle on, right? Is it a teaspoon or a tablespoon per hive that you can sprinkle on? It's a powder.
That's the activator.
Okay.
If it's a
And
black
then
bag, if it's a black
Yep.
bag, it has Apis biologics on it. It'll either have activator or I think it's additive, isn't it, Charlie?
No, biocontrol.
Biocontrol or activator. Activator is used in the powder form. The biocontrol is used in sugar water, and it turns the sugar water to nectar, or as
Okay.
close to nectar as you can get without it being a real thing.
Okay. One of the things that I've found that Hive Alive does for me, and I'm not measuring with you here, buddy. I think the thymol in it or something in it generally helps keep my sugar water from molding.
Yeah.
As quick.
It's I checked it. It's biocontrol.
Yeah.
For the sugar water.
Yes. So, Will, you may be correct. You might be 100% correct. I don't know, but I've never compared it like that.
Nancy uses it, I think.
Yeah, Nancy uses
Wow.
Hive Alive.
What am I
So-
using?
The Hive Alive.
In
Yeah.
sugar water. In sugar water.
I do the fondant, and I also put it in the syrup, the liquid.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's the ingredients?
Ooh.
And one
All
of the
right,
other things.
you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Sugar, sucrose, sugar syrup, dried seaweed meal. And then there's a word after that in paren. I can spell it for you later. But water, thyme, lectin, lemongrass oil, dextrose, hydrolyseed yeast,
Mm-hmm.
vitamins B1, B2, B3, B6, biotin, niacinamide, and D-pathanol.
Okay.
We do not use GMO ingredients.
Right. So none of these ingredients are GMO either. So the sugar is already inverted. Glycerin, pectin, water, coconut oil, lemongrass oil, Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus licheniformis, Bacillus pumilus, proline, triosine, aniline, phenylaniline, threonine, styrene, histidine, aspartic acid, glycine, valine, lysine, glutamic acid, arginine, isoleucine, leucine, gamma aminobutyric acid, or GABA, methionine, polyphenols, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, pantothenic acid, pyroxidine, biotin, folic acid, comboblend, bioflavonoids, and absorbic acid.
So
That's a good
yeah,
one.
so I'm gonna go to none here, but so Bill, a lot of those, is this working? A lot of those ingredients were in paren underneath hydrolyzed yeast.
Yes.
And then it went to I'm trying to get rid of my background here. I don't know if I can't. But yeah, you can't. I'm not going to be able. But all of those things were in paren after hydrolyzed yeast. So
Yes.
does it have that? Does yours say that?
No, there's no yeast in it.
Well, a whole bunch of the that you read off was the hydrolyzed yeast. You know what I mean?
Is that both a fondant type thing or what?
Yes, it's a fondant.
And
Yeah,
one
I
of them's
can't-
got
I can't
APIS
get
in
rid
it,
of
and one
mine.
of them's got the other stuff in there.
See, this has the Avis
I can't get rid of
Biologics
my
in it.
background.
Go to settings.
Yeah, it won't unclick. It won't unclick for me. I see it here. And I'm trying to I'm clicking on it. It don't work. Dang nabbit.
I don't know.
Ah, okay.
There it is right there. Let me see if I can make it bigger.
Oh yeah.
There's
The
the
thing of-
ingredients in it.
Thing of it is you
Yeah.
you gotta sit there and figure out what is the ingredient, you know?
Yeah, I'd spend a day Googling every one of those things.
Yeah, but right there, that right there is Apis Biologics. The
Yeah.
only thing that's not in Apis Biologics is the inverted sugar, which this
Biotin.
patty is already inverted.
Yeah, this has sucrose
Yeah,
and dextrose.
yeah, that's not inverted.
Right. Yeah.
But now, Nancy, do you use that as to get them an emergency feeding type of thing, or
Yeah, so the fondant is on now. Like the fondant is what I put on over winter. And I will put this on during a dearth as well. I'll put it on, but then the liquid is I just use that in syrup on the top, like in the spring.
Yeah,
I'll dose them with that early on, and then I'll also do that in fall. The liquid.
so Norman, Apis Biologic is basically the kitchen sink of amino acids and probiotics and everything else. So Nancy, is there fructose in that patty?
No, that's the one that's not in here. It's got sucrose
Yeah.
and dextrose, but no
Okay.
fructose.
So there's no fructose in this either.
Seaweed meal. And there's
Yeah.
a word for that. FUCACEAE.
Yeah.
Hey, Nancy, this is a
Where's our
family show.
chemist? Huh?
I said this is a family show, you know. You started FUC.
Yeah. Where's our chemists? You know,
Yeah.
Crystalline.
So Tom, what we're doing is it's Nancy and I are comparing the two products because somebody asked a question about the
Yeah.
products. So all we're
Yeah.
doing is comparing what's in one and to what's in the other, so everybody can make a semi-informed decision. So I'm going to try to get
Yeah,
the
well,
manufacturer for Hive Alive to come on and talk to us as well, and I'm going to get the manufacturer for Strong Microbials to come on and talk to us as well. So Strong Microbials is coming on in a couple of weeks, and then I've got an email out to the manufacturer Hive Alive, and they haven't answered yet, but I would like to get them on here too.
so he doesn't. I've already talked to him about coming on, and it's the time difference for him. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So he
Okay.
had said to me, Dara had said to me before that we could send him questions that he would make a video that we could play during our time
That
zone
would be
here.
great. Yeah.
That he would make a video answering the questions that we have for him. Yeah, we're not saying one's better than the other.
No.
I just happen to have this in the garage.
Yeah, we're
So
not
we're just
saying
reading
that.
off.
Don't y'all get the wrong impression, because that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to
No,
say one's
we're
better than
just,
the other. They both have their uses.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that you have to make the informed decisions over what is the best use for your bees.
Mhm.
Which product works better for your bees. That's what we're trying to help you do.
You want to
Yeah.
address Vince up there about Apis and Fond?
Wouldn't the apps to start the bees too early is what you got? Won't the apis start?
Apis.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why when you use the Apis biologics, you have to time it right. You don't want to use Apis biologics in December. You want to fatten them up in the fall with it. And then in the spring, you want to hit them with it again in the spring, so that it's timing their bee production and their bee health to be ready to go for the spring flow. And
so price point. Oh, sorry, Bill. Sorry, Bill.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Price point on this. It depends if you're buying, how you buy. The more you buy, the less
Right.
this is anywhere from $5 to $7, I think.
Yeah,
This
and the
2 pounds. This is 2 pounds, 4 ounces.
Yeah.
And it's anywhere from 5 to 7, depending on. I buy a lot of it, so
yeah.
mine comes down to
32-ounce super fuel bars is $48. So do the math. A 10-pound brick of it is $48. And
there you go.
A 40-pound super fuel brick, 40 pounds, is $174.
Ripple wanted to know what I use or which one do I like. Well, what I do is in the fall, I mix Apis Biologic in my Sherwoodder and put it through the feeder into the hive. And then right now, I want to build them up super strong by the end of March. So I've been buying the global patties with rocket fuel and been feeding that. And they're taking about a half a pound in 7 days.
Yeah.
Right now.
So, and if you don't give it in the fall, can you still use it in the spring? Of course you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course you can. So we have developed sort of a diet regimen for the bees, and we hit them in the fall with the Apis biologics, which the winter bees, they're still young. We're trying to build them up, trying to grow them fat for the winter. And it gives queen nutrition and everything else. It helps her during the winter to get through the winter. And in the spring, it helps the new spring bees build up and gets them fat, gets them ready to work. So, it helps both ends of the spectrum here.
Well, the thing of it is, in my understanding of it, you're changing your sugar water from just sugar water to closer to a nectar
Yes.
base, I guess you'd call it. It's got the same, what Andrew Munn developed there was it gives that bee the same beneficial vitamins or whatever you want to call them as real nectar has in it. And I always say I'm changing my sugar water to more of a nectar base.
Yes.
That's why they seem to thrive off of it.
And if you develop that feeding regimen, I mean, I'm sure Nancy has hers. I have mine. I'm sure Will's got one. I know Charlie's got a feeding regimen. So
Mhm.
you're helping your bees. You're making that effort to,
Yeah.
as DC says, fat, happy winter nest. Yes, that's correct. That's what you want. You want fat and happy in the spring too, so they're willing to go out and work. And Peabody, I have tried to get Apis. John Turpin can fill you in a little more on this when he gets here, when he comes on. But Apis shows everything out of stock right now. So
Mhm.
I think I understand why, and that's why I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to get anything started. So, but you see the pictures. There's photographic proof that Apis is in that patty and those bricks. It is a dry food as well for them. They have it in dry food, and it's there. They have it. They're gonna have it, and it's coming out. So it'll all come out here soon as to what's going on. So
Bill, there's a new beekeeper here talking about spring feeding and first spring. It's up at the top. I can't up. It's gone. I don't know if can you here. Let
Swarmstead.
me. I think we should talk about that. I can't.
All
Oh,
right.
what's wrong with my
I need to
computer?
figure
Yeah.
out when to start my spring management since this is my first spring. I can see part of it over there.
Yeah, so if it's the first spring, first year, you're not gonna do what we're talking about. You're gonna be
No.
building comb, you're gonna be
Yeah.
checking out your yard, like is a good yard to even have bees in, and you're in a whole different, your first year, second, third year even is all gonna be figuring out the environment in which you're trying to have bees. So
Yeah,
you're
1-to-1 or less. Real
Yeah.
light sugar water to draw comb.
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're going to feed, if you're in your first year, you are going to feed these bees religiously that first year. You're not going to get any honey. You might as well bank on that. Your goal that first year of beekeeping is to get them through that first winter.
And to build and to make comb.
To draw comb, get them through that first winter. You want healthy bees going into the winter. So what you do now is going to help you in the fall and the winter to get them through. So that's your sole purpose in life right now, is getting them through the summer to the fall and getting them through the winter. That is your sole purpose in doing that right now.
All right, this is his.
Yeah, and direct him to Fred Dunn's videos, like Fred Dunn's, because he will address all the first year beekeeper stuff in real time on his Friday videos. Fred Dunn.
Yep. So yeah, check out Fred Dunn and just follow what he's saying. But that is your sole purpose in life right now, is getting these bees through that first winter.
Don't use raw sugar. Don't use confectionery sugar. Just use regular table sugar and mix it no stronger than 1-to-1. get it
Yep.
on them early, and that'll stimulate them to draw comb, and that's what you're going to
Yep.
need as a first-year beekeeper.
Now, the way he's reading here, it's like he's got him through this winter.
So it'll be his second spring. It'll be
Oh, okay.
his second.
Spring.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now you should be starting to feed some pollen patties. Not big
Where
ones.
is this guy?
Where are
Yeah,
you
where
at,
is he?
Jason?
We all get excited and then we realize he's in like Alaska or
Hawaii
Australia.
or something. Yeah.
Australia, and then we all get
Jason is in Ontario.
Oh,
Oh,
He's
boy.
way
oh
north.
wow.
oh, then he's got to
Yeah.
go to Brad.
Yeah, you need to go to Brad at Faith Apiaries or somebody like that. And
You know,
Yeah.
Nancy had that fondant on. If he was going to do anything, it'd be fondant probably.
yeah, he said he's got Hive Lab fondant on there, which is great.
Yep.
You're feeding them. That's
Yeah.
great because between the middle of February and the end of March, more people lose bees during that time period than any other time period of the year because they starve to death.
Well, he's across from Detroit, so
Yeah,
so-
Ian, I don't know if a second
I'd
year
slip
is going to
fondant
be able
on
Yeah,
to interpret.
Ian Stepler may help you out a little bit, but Brad from Faith Apiaries would be a good one to listen to up there. He's in Canada, so
Mhm.
yes, this is a very
Yeah.
stressful time right now. So
Where's JW? What's JW talking? What's he saying?
and University of Guelph, yes, they have great videos from the University of Guelph.
Yes,
Yes,
those are
I would
very
definitely
good.
pay attention to them. So you're in a good area and you've got some good beekeepers around you that know the climate that you're in.
Mhm.
Maybe even some UP, Michigan beekeepers as well can help you out. So they're kind of the same climate that you're in. So, that area up there, I'm not saying don't come back on here by any means, but that area up there can help you. And they're on here as well. I just haven't seen them tonight.
I would be curious if in the fall, if Jason's bees were very heavy,
I would be too.
because that'll
Yeah.
help us. Because I had lighter hives than I like on several going into fall or going into winter, and they are tearing through my candy boards right now at an unbelievable rate.
So if anybody watched my treatment video, that little single deep hive, that was a swarm last July that I should have let go. I caught it anyway off the fence post. I put it in a single deep. Man, you're talking about bees. That thing's jam-packed full of bees this spring. And
Yeah, July's okay to do swarms. for
rule
you
what's a
down
rule
there,
of thumb? What's a rule of thumb on a swarm? After 1st July, let them fly.
right?
That's rule of
Yeah.
thumb. So
That's grandpa. That's grandpa talk.
I know, but I'm a grandpa, so hey.
No, I didn't mean you. I meant,
But,
1900,
yeah.
1800 or something.
Charlie talks about his volcano of bees.
Bubbling over.
I was
Bubbling up and over.
I was videoing putting fondant and pollen patties on there the other day, and they were up on top of the frames, and I laid that pollen patty down, and they were right up to it. They were all over it.
Give me 2. Utah
So-
bee man.
I'll be back.
So it was
Anchorage backyard beekeeping.
yeah. It's -12 where Jason's at.
C, not F.
Oh, see, yeah, centigrade. So that's
It's 10 degrees.
about 10 degrees.
It's 10.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Splits in September, you'll never remember. No, around here though, if people don't, you get a swarm after 1st of July, very few people chase them around here.
Yeah.
Very few people because they don't want to take the time to feed them all winter.
Right, right. And I'm little, so I mean I get swarms in September. I've gotten swarms in October and got them through winter, but you know,
Yeah,
depends on how much work you want to put into it.
that's true. It's that all depends on what you want out of your apiary. That's
How
true.
much fun you want to have. Sometimes it's just fun to try and get them through, you know.
Yeah.
Because what's the other alternative? I mean, you're not just gonna leave them sit there,
Well, the
right?
other
I mean,
alternative is maybe they'll become feral and you can catch them the following spring out of a bee tree. I've got 2 bee trees here on the farm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know about that up here. I mean, they're just gonna die.
That pine
I don't
woods
think.
that you saw back behind that field there, Charlie, there's 2 bee trees in that pine grove.
Oh, yes, yes, bee trees. I'm thinking open. What's it, open air hives? This is what I was thinking. Open air, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
is that
these are
right?
actually they're trees. They're feral bees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure we have some up here. I'm sure we have
Yeah, I'm sure you
some bee
do.
trees here. I mean, we see them. We come across them. Who knows how long they're there?
DC, you're right. They are swarm machines, and I let people put swarm traps up back there in those woods, and they walk out with 10 or 12 swarms a year.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
So,
Stu. I saw you on Stu earlier, but I didn't get to say hi to you.
so there's
Oh, okay.
also JT. He catches a lot of swarms every year. JT Berry kind bees. He and Kathy catch swarms all summer long. So, but it, it's it's been it's an experience when you get out there and you find a bee tree and all you gotta do is
Mm-hmm.
hang a swarm trap up somewhere and walk away with free bees. So there he is. He's back.
Had to go move the
Fun with
laundry
a
around
couple.
quick.
Oh, you didn't move mine. I didn't hear you in here. So have you talked to anybody else about dipping?
um, I've talked to a couple people about it. Boy, the information is just all over the place on
what
that.
brand you gonna use?
Um, I ordered it. The dip and tank originally came from Canada Wax, who is now Thorn, I guess. Thorn Manufacturing is kind of doing what they were doing. But I went back to Canada Wax. They still sell wax, and I think they sell the Hive Guard stuff. So that's what I have ordered. I haven't gotten anything yet, but Tom's been a wealth of information, on the dipping side of it, and I just need to get my wax and play with it a little bit and see what it really amounts to now. So that's kind of where I'm at. I need to do it. I mean, I got probably about 300 things that need dipped here right now just to get me started. And till I get done doing that, I'll know what's going on. And I think I'm gonna, what the heck? I think I'm gonna put the propane torch on all that stuff and see what it does for bringing the grain out, and just it'll look cool. It's my stuff. Experiment with it. Don't burn up anybody else's stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Are you going to offer dipping to your club?
that's what I'm looking at. I kind of put a feeler out through one of the Facebook things that I have to see if just kind of see what the interest is a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Nancy, the secretary down at our club, I talked to her a little bit about it, and she jumped on it right away. Like, that's something you should offer to the club people. I mean, I
Oh,
really
yeah.
only got it figuring on doing it for myself, but it,
So
it could play nice into that.
how portable is your tank?
You bring up a good point. I was wondering a little bit about that because, I'm probably going to go out and get a 100-pound propane cylinder, and then the tank itself, got forklift notches out in it. You know what I mean? So you could just pick it up with a forklift, and they're not just notches. I mean, they're box tubing that, you know, you can run
Yeah.
the forks right into, that you could pick it up and move it. Because
I think
you know,
I think it would be more. You'd have to have a trailer set up for that. You know,
Well,
I wouldn't move it. I wouldn't move it.
I wouldn't either.
I'd leave it sit and let them come to you, because there's also a liability. So I would leave it sit where it's at and let them come drop off the stuff, or however you want to do that, because we had some situations up here where yeah, the club had the wax at a guy's, one of the other members' house, and we all went. Well, some guy go and put his hands, pushed it down, the wax came up on the top of the gloves and back down and
Yeah.
through. Now all of a sudden the club's sitting there like, oh shit, because this was a club event at a member's house, where who pays. Like, I would just leave it where it's at, because it's covered under your homeowners most likely, and then you'd be in charge of getting
I
up
would
on the
not
platform
trust
and
that
actually
it's
doing.
covered under your homeowners.
Yeah, and you'd be up on the platform actually doing the they
Right,
hand
right.
you the
Yeah,
boxes.
nobody else is doing it other than me. Right.
I would say
Yeah.
that the best thing you would do, you drop your woodenware off, and I'll tell you when you can come and get it.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
I know
Yep.
that Carl, 2B Brats, up there in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, there's a guy up there that wax steps. Carl takes his boxes to him, drops them off. All right, it'll probably be 2 or 3 days before I call you. And then he
Yeah.
gets a call, and then he picks them up. That
Yep.
would be the
That way you're
best.
not under pressure of people standing around looking at you.
Well, yeah, because even if I had wax already in a tank, till you take it, you're obviously not going to move it hot. But even till you took it somewhere, I mean, you're going to have several hours till that thing heats up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's some of the stuff that I'll learn as I do it. I'm going to start to watch and see, okay, does it take 2 hours or 6 hours for this thing to heat up?
Start doing yours first and get
Yep.
the experience first.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm excited. That'll be
Yeah.
be something different.
Norman.
Yeah, there you go.
Just throw it off the roof. Oh, what the hell?
Gosh. So we've had a pretty good crowd in here tonight.
And
What
then
do we got?
At one point, we had 95 in here.
Woo!
maybe them cards you gave out worked out for you.
It might have.
There you go.
That whole card holder was just about gone when I went out there.
Oh,
Does the
yeah.
wax
The wax
burn?
burn.
I'm sure it does.
I've got it.
Yeah,
on.
like my understanding is you got to be real careful you don't boil over the top, because you've got a propane fire running underneath this thing, and you can
Yep.
light everything on fire. That's why
There's a
you gotta
certain amount of
do it.
like foam or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you don't pay attention, that can boil up out over the sides if you have too much wax in the tank, and
Yep.
then you've got your propane burner running underneath there, and it's an open flame. And yep, I think you can make a really neat fire. I'm going to put it underneath a pop-up or something like that, so if it all catches on fire, I can just step back and hit it with a dry fire extinguisher.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
I've seen a couple guys
Yeah, there
doing
you go,
it.
Tom.
Yeah, I've seen a couple guys doing it in garages, and it's like, no freaking way. Whew.
No, I
Ooh.
would not burn my house down over
Nope.
a wax dipping tank.
Not at all.
That's how I feel about making invert sugar in my kitchen.
Yeah.
I've done it, but
Well, you can burn up your
You
stove
know.
pretty good doing that too. I
Yeah,
mean,
you can.
that's why they make those propane burners. You just set them up outside and deep fry your turkey and don't burn down your house, right?
or you
Exactly.
just buy Hive Alive already.
That's true.
Yeah. Just depends on where you want to put your time and effort and money.
That's
Yeah,
all.
but Dennis, if he's using a 50-50 mix with paraffin, paraffin does burn. paraffin is very flammable.
Yeah.
Yeah, explain that
Make
one
a
to your insurance
commercial.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the guy that does all those goofy commercials where he's like, gets himself in all these. Yeah, get him to do a commercial on
Oh, for
wax in
Nationwide.
your garage.
Yeah. Didn't he play a
Yeah.
bee one time? He played a bee that was in a lady's car.
Yeah,
one
in a
time.
car.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
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 Yeah, he was an actor. He's an actor, but his
Mhm.
most recognition is that insurance sale.
Yep.
And Flo, she was on several other acting.
She's been on sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah, but she's most recognized as the insurance girl.
Yep, for Progressive Insurance.
And she they were talking about this just this past week. She said that it was a setup where the guy was coming through like a cashier line and he, got the insurance or whatever it was. And she said something off the script. It was
Yep.
like a comment that somebody would make. And that just, what's she going to say next? And that put her in the spotlight.
Mayhem.
Yep.
Yeah, Clay. Mayhem.
Yep.
Mayhem and chaos. Yep, you're exactly right.
funny.
Those two go hand in hand.
So are we all over this the commercial guy's dilemma? Did we beat that horse to death?
Oh
I
my God.
haven't heard anybody else having losses like that. Have you guys?
Well, Cayman had live the other night with Blake Shook, and
Mhm.
there was nothing really new put out about it.
No, they're not going to have anything new until the testing comes back.
Yep.
And that Blake
Yep.
said that back like a week ago. It's going to be a month to 3 months till the testing comes back. The USDA was out within hours, and got all their specimens, I guess, and now we just sit and wait.
Yep.
I know there's been a half a dozen videos about it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
it is what it is,
Yeah. There's nothing we can do about it until they say, "Hey, it's done."
I like Bob Binney's the best. Every 20 years we go through this, and we'll,
We do.
just a natural. I guess it's a natural. Well, we'll just wait to comment further, I guess. But
Yep.
I liked Bob Binney. I like Bob Binney. Who doesn't?
Yep. I don't think it's a California problem.
Tom, bees die. Yup.
Yep, they die. I mean,
Oh, you know what I learned? I was told, I thought years ago that almond pollen is not good for the bees.
no, it's not.
Then, Blake Shook's saying it's great for the bees. It's a very nutritious pollen. Blake Shook says that on, I know, Bill, I see your face. He talks about it on Blake was everywhere, but one of the videos, he's talking about how it's good pollen.
The thing I want to know is what made him the expert. I know he's got 10,000 beehives, and he's a
broker. He's a broker.
He's a broker. He doesn't have 10,000
that makes him the expert.
Yeah, but he's also a great business person. He's went from a little something very young to a huge organization.
But that's what makes him the expert.
Mm.
People let him, broker bees. So he's got to be an authority. Or, I mean, he is an authority. I don't know, Chaplain. I don't know about that. They're not going to come to us for bees. No, they go if he was saying if they go in, if they're poor going into the almonds, they come out poor. If they're good going in, they come out good.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I don't know anything about almonds yet.
I don't know anything about them either.
Ask Bracken, he'd tell you more about anything else.
Yep.
Bracken does almonds.
Yeah, he has to split because they're so good, doing so well. He was on. Bracken was on. Yeah, the pollen is. That's what Blake was saying. That it
Yeah.
is
Look at
a
that
very good
statement.
pollen for
Look at
bees.
that statement, especially the last word.
Yeah, true, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't you can't second guess everybody all the time.
No, you
I
can't.
mean,
And
he's
I'm
a broker.
not saying
He's
I'm
a
second
broker.
guessing him. Not saying I'm second guessing him. Not, you don't get me wrong, but there's been a lot. I mean, a lot of off the wall theories about this, and
Hmm.
nobody is talking about it at all.
Well,
So
the other thing too is Charles Linder was talking about how the commercial guys only talk to each other once a year. And I'm
yeah,
thinking, good heavens, let's start inviting commercial guys
and I
to our
did.
beat chat
I
because
saw that post, and I
how
said
how
because he
how do we
said all the sideliners and backyard beekeepers talk all week long. Why can't we do that? And I said, you can. I'll invite you to my
yeah,
chat
well
and
that's
talk.
yeah. Yeah. I put out on Friday to it's invite a commercial beekeeper day, like to
Yeah,
Charlie's or to whatever, whoever's, but these commercial guys can't talk to each other. Come on. In this day and age with Zoom and YouTube and look what we do every night of the week.
yeah,
They
exactly.
just yeah,
There's no reason they can't talk. None.
right. Yes. And if they can't put their heads in the sand,
Yeah.
All I know is I was feeling good about 30%, but now we're going to have this next 4 days where it's not
Mhm.
going to get above freezing. So it's kind of,
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be cold.
yep.
Well, nobody's looking down on anybody that has, 5 hives or 6 hives, but
No,
we are hobbyists and sideliners, and we have to understand that that's what we are, and we have
exactly.
to understand the commercial guys and the hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars they go into on banknotes. So,
Mike, you're right. We're not competing. The reason we're on these chats every night of the week is because we try to work together. We try to
yeah.
help each other out as much as we can. We bounce ideas off of each other. We help each other out. That's what the beekeeping community does. And if there's a part of this community that doesn't want to participate,
Mhm.
then that's on them.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
door's
Yeah.
open for them to come and join us on these chats.
Yep.
And nobody here is competing with anybody else. So, I lost 6 hives this winter. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm at 30%, but I'm nervous. This spell that we're in right now. Oh man, I just
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a little nervous too, but after Saturday, I feel a lot. Well, Sunday, I feel a lot better because I know that the bees are eating. The Enel hives are still down towards the bottom. They've still got plenty of stores,
Mm, good, good,
and
good,
I'm happy with the way my bees are doing this year. Now the hives that I
good.
lost, they were in wood, and I lost them during that cold snap. So
Mm.
I know when they died.
Yeah, I don't know if this
And
was a bad year for me to plan to cull some of the genetics in my hives or not, but oh, I don't know.
No, you just got to make your plans and push through with
Yep.
them, Nancy. We do it every
Yep.
year. We make plans and we just go with them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I had someone reach out to me today, and I think it's a scam. It was my phone. I don't know where my phone is. They sent me an email asking for 20 VHS nukes, but they just left their name. Like usually when I get someone emailing me or calling me, they give me information where they're at. All just kind of. This one was different. It just was Amelia or something. Just said, looking for 20 VHS. And then I just said no, sorry, because I don't have VHS to begin with. But just be careful when you're getting your emails for nukes that you
yep.
the normal practices, they give you information, or
Yes.
they call you talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an email today for a nuke, and I'm like, I can't. What she was explaining her circumstances and all this other stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, you didn't go to B school, that's for
No.
sure. And she wants the bees to be, pollination and gardening, and she got all these ideas, and I'm like, place it against the farm where they're farming and they're spraying. Well, what are they planting? What are they spraying? I don't mind that.
Yep.
Like when I started, they didn't know what about the mites, and it's corn. It's the corn dust killing all the bees, or the pollen or whatever. Yeah, that's what it was. I mean,
Yes, no, I probably said it the wrong way, so the dentist is jumping on it. But yeah, so JW, the live, the YouTube live is Emily. Be fit beekeeping or whatever. That's where Charles Linder's saying that they don't talk to each other.
So DC, yes, bees are my business, but bee equipment is my business. I keep bees. I'm not a commercial beekeeper. Okay. In a sense, yes, I am, because I sell queens, but that's the only part of my bee operation that is commercial. So I'm just a sideline beekeeper, just like everybody else. Yes, I see your point, DC. I really do.
But
Yeah,
and they thought they were pulling at straws, trying to figure out what was wrong with these bees. And I told him, I said, well, they got corn 20 feet from my hives. And I never had any problems,
Yeah, I haven't either. I've never had any problem. They come in, they let me know when they're going to spray. I cover my hives with wet sheets. 4 hours later, I go out there, I take the sheets off the hives, the bees are fine. And now I've got another tool in my toolbox, the P801. So, yeah.
So I was up in southern New York State Sunday, and I was up at a commercial beekeeper. I think he was coming down, but I think he was running about 600 colonies. And I think that commercial guys are just like everybody else. I think at most he would have treated his bees with a couple strips of Apivar. You know what I mean? And it's a dollars and cents type of thing. How many dollars are they going to spend on their hives? And he was telling me that he was pretty routinely a 50% loss. And and that's just how I don't think he kept his. And I know this probably sounds crazy to us because we manage our bees more, but I think this guy was just chewing through them not treating them for the mites and buying packages to replace some of them in the spring. And you know, I think the commercial guys are just like the rest of us. You know, maybe they make more of a business decision, and they're certainly looking at more dollars for treatments. But you know, I'm sure they're in the same place that we are. Sometimes I don't get to spend enough time with my bees, managing my bees. Other times I do great, and then that directly reflects on what my outcome is, whether it's honey or whether it's my survival rate through winter. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, if we all work together and we all bounce ideas and we all know what works best in our area, maybe we want to try something that somebody else has suggested to see if it does work in our area. If it does, great, and it helps the bees, we get more honey. Hey, that's a boom for everybody, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
The numbers game. What do they say? It's a numbers game.
It's a huge numbers game.
Well, it's like, Bill, you plant corn and beans.
Yep.
And you got to make the decision how much fertilizer you're going to put down on per acre.
Yep.
And how much spray that you need to do, whatever. If you're doing that, some years there's a fungus problem.
Yep.
Like in beans or corn sometimes.
Yeah.
I know there was a problem here, that field up behind me there. The corn was really tall, and there was some kind of a borer worm or fungus. They had a crop duster come down and fly, which is not very common around here
anymore.
Yeah. There's houses along this road, and he went like that through there. Every front door slammed wide open and came out. What in the hell is going on? And all that. It was funny. And then one guy was talking about this guy. He's gonna fly. I'm gonna call the FFA. And I said,
yeah.
Sonny, it's a crop duster.
It's They think they're the only ones that ever saw it.
Yep, you're right. So, I mean, it's like here last spring we had an issue with a slug on a wheat crop, winter wheat crop. It ate it up. And then we get slugs on corn every now and then. We treat it because it's treated. It's now part of the post-emerge treatment, and it takes care of it. So we know it's there. We know it's coming. That's why we treat for it, just like beekeepers treat for varroa mite.
It's kind of funny, and this is nothing negative at all by any means. Chincoteague, Virginia, love it down there. Family vacation spot. And but it is the mosquito capital of the universe.
Yes, it is.
And I remember tent camping.
I've been there one time, and that was enough.
I remember, we would, as a kid, we'd go down there tent camping. I took my kids down there tent camping. I love it, right? But you'll be laying in your tent, and early in the morning, you'll hear this old plane go over top, and they're spraying for mosquitoes. And I'm not saying anything negative about it. But, I think about it just like our bees, because they're going overhead and they'll spray. And then I've been down there many times where for 4 or 5 days, there'll be dead mosquitoes, but there won't be a single mosquito flying, and it's just kind of like whether it's crop dusting to control a pest or control something. Heck, there we are in our tent with our kids getting sprayed. And, it's I guess it's kind of the same thing as what happens to the bees,
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I can remember going to Virginia Beach as a kid, right? My cousins lived in Virginia Beach, and they would come by in the late afternoon, early evening with a truck with a sprayer on the back, spraying for mosquitoes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They do that down there too. Yep.
Here we are on bicycles chasing this truck down the street in this fog, right? And they didn't stop us. Parents didn't stop us.
Yep.
No, they didn't know.
No, they didn't know. And come to find out, guess what they were spraying? DEET.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So maybe I'll kick off early from DEET poisoning. I don't know. You never know. But
I remember
it's
playing with the corn. The seed corn was pink and
Yep.
blue and green.
Yep.
And I used to play with it. I used to get it out in containers and line them up or do whatever I did with them. You know, I was
Yep.
making soup and whatnot.
hands
And
turn pink. Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And now when you're planting soybeans, they're green, and you take white or yellow graphite and pour in them so they go through the planter better. So, you know, and the green, it's a pesticide. The green coating on that seed is a pesticide, just like the pink coating on corn or the yellow coating, whatever color it may be, is a pesticide.
Yeah, this was 50 years ago. I mean, I don't know. You know.
Yeah, hell, we used to go sit at my grandparents' house in the front yard. Grandfather get a pump sprayer out, and he'd go out to the shed and he'd draw poison up out of a glass jar in it, and he'd come along, start spraying where we were sitting to kill the mosquitoes. We're still here to tell the story, so must not have been but so bad.
Oh, someone says here, who's Emily? Emily, I think I met her like 3 years ago. I think she was one of the young I think it
What's
was
that
her.
BeFit? That's that BeFit YouTube channel.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was I think was she one of the what's came and have the young kids, what's he call them? The next gen?
Yeah,
I think
next
she
gen
was
kids.
she was one of the next gens way like 4 years ago. I think that's her. But yeah, she's a very intelligent, smart, articulate young woman who is going to go far in the beekeeping world. I think, my opinion. I think she's a wonderful kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bee Fit Beekeeping.
Yep. I can't wait. They bought a whole bunch of pallets of bees last year. She did. And I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
We all manage differently, you know what I mean? And I'm just curious to see. She took a big step and bought a pile of bees there. I don't know how many pallets she bought, but you know, I'm sure she bought a dozen at least. And I'll be curious to see where that all goes.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, some of the young kids are so fun to watch, you know. I mean, they're just fun to watch learning and growing and becoming adults. There's a handful of them we've been watching now for years, and it's just the next generation.
Yeah, Tom, I'm still here. I have my days though. Well, you know, we've had a good crowd on here tonight. It's been good conversation. We've talked about a lot of stuff. There's been some new people on here. So when y'all leave tonight, please don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. It helps us out. It helps all of us out and keeps us all going, knowing that we've got people that are listening to us and they're coming back and they like us. So please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I appreciate you coming out tonight. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm sure everybody on here has a job, and everybody's going to be going to work tomorrow, except for me, because I'm off tomorrow. That's why I'm here on Monday nights. So I do appreciate everybody's participation, and y'all have a good evening.
We'll do it again on Wednesday.
And we'll do it again on Wednesday with Nancy. And then we'll do it again on Friday with Charlie. And remember this. I came up with this today. I got to thinking about it. The chat channels that you come to and that you participate in, We just don't talk at you. We talk with you.
With you. Yes.
And we're
yes.
here
Great
to
point.
help you out. We're here to answer your questions. And
Mhm.
we want to make sure and see everybody succeed. So y'all have a
Yes.
good evening, and I will see you Wednesday night with Nancy and Friday night with Charlie.
Yep.
Yep.
See you
night.
guys.
Good night. Thanks for coming.